This is the brand new environment of my desert beetles. I just placed some brand new sand up to 3 inches so that they will not get stuck, but that they'll have enough sand to dig inside. I will also be placing 2 green grapes so that they can eat, and water. Is the water. They're little gelatin cubes since they cannot eat any liquids because they only have a tube and mandibles. The tube allows them to suck things in after they've been eaten by the mandibles. However, liquid cannot be picked up by the mandibles, which makes it impossible for them to eat. So you gotta give them water jelly, which is pretty cool. Now, on to some fun facts. The first one I want to talk about is their name, Blue Death Feigning. Blue comes from the fact that they create a wax covering which resembles a light blue or light gray. And Death Feigning comes from the fact that they can play dead. Why play dead? So that they can escape predators. However, that isn't their only defense mechanism, since they can also use their very hard shell to deflect predator hits, or to just survive hard surfaces or cars for a couple of seconds, because pressure over time is their grand weakness, since their shells can survive one hit but not over time hit. You can also compare their insides to springs. However, some other fun facts are that, number 1, the water jellies they eat are actually mostly water mixed with some chemicals. Another fun fact is that their hard shell can also give them the alternate name, ironclad beetle. They have very, very strong shells. But moving on, they are very hard to breed since they aren't very active animals and much rather would just chill. However, something fun about them is that they are actually very social. If they get enough space, for example, in a big box, 2 of these could be put in, but in a very big fish tank, 30 could be put in at a time. But if they get enough space, they can actually have social gatherings and social interactions. One of the most important things to know about them, however, is what they eat. They cannot eat anything that is alive, and only eat stuff that was once alive. For example, fruits are their favorite, but also dog food and dead animals can work. However, it's not recommended to give them dead animals you find outside, since they can get sick. Normally, it's better to use dried insects. Something cool about them is that they actually cannot climb anything smooth. The spikes on their hands and arms, just appendages in general, actually are incapable of grabbing anything too hard, since the spikes at their bottom, which most insects use to climb trees, are incapable of climbing anything that isn't groovy. If you want to read some fun facts, you can read the rest of this video.